Well, I'm coming to you live from Kilimani here at iHub headquarters in Kilimani, and where the DroidCon KE app meet is currently happening. And just to brief you, the conference is just about bringing mobile developers together so that they can showcase what they have, maybe learn from each other. And right now I'll try to bring someone from Nigeria actually, and who will try and maybe tell us what she does. And madam, maybe you can tell us your name and maybe what do you do, or what app have you developed?
Okay, my name is Omolara Adejumo, and I'm an Android engineer at Kudi, Nigeria. We at Kudi we make financial services accessible to citizens both in Nigeria and also outside Nigeria. And I currently lead the mobile team at Kudi. And one of our apps in Nigeria is just to make our products accessible and also very, very fast, and also make people perform some transactions on the go. Exactly. So that's what Kudi does, and that's what I do at Kudi.
Mostly when people develop apps, they come up with solutions to problems that are already there. Maybe did you see any problem so that you come up with the app, or was it a decision that you had made that you'll come up with an app whether there's a problem or there's no?
Okay, so number one goal for me is that before I jump on any project at all, I make sure that I see value in that project, because I mean everybody wants value for their time. So you want something in return for committing certain number of time or hours to doing something. That means if you don't believe that there's a problem or what you are building is going to touch someone or is going to impact someone somehow, then I don't think there's a need to actually build it. So for me, yeah, I see the value first, then I put the energy and amount of time needed to make that product come to life.
You are coming from Nigeria, and this is Kenya. Maybe have you seen any differences in terms of mobile app development between the two countries?
Well, I just came yesterday basically, and I've only been opportune to meet just few developers here yesterday. So I've really not seen, we've not really talked in depth about the tech scene in Kenya. But I asked a few questions, but so far it's not so different. I mean, it's still the same Africa, right? So what I was made to understand is that everything is still booming. I mean, the awareness is still just coming up. So just a little bit different from Nigeria. So I want to say that Africa is on the path to actually.
Maybe what can you say is a little bit difference between Kenya and
Kenya and Nigeria? I'm not sure, but I think I might be wrong. I think in Nigeria the tech community is booming more, because I might be wrong also. I think we have more developers shouting. It doesn't mean we have more developers in Nigeria, but we have more developers probably trying to make a PR for themselves, so they get to be known more than Kenyans. But then I think that's the major difference. But in terms of the scene, in terms of the vibe, I'm getting the same vibe, because we have something similar like this in Nigeria. We call it CC Hub, similar to this hub where developers, people just come around to come and working space, and also so I get the same vibe as I get it in Nigeria. So it's like I'm home. I'm actually feeling at home, because I mean I can see faces. I mean it's black and black. I can relate to almost everything happening. So I think that's actually a major one for me.
Thank you very much. And maybe I can try and bring Kevin from Hoover into the conversation. Kevin, you are a Kenyan. You have been here. You know what happens in Kenya. Maybe can you tell us, in the context of what is happening now, what it means for this conference to take place in Kenya, as a developer and also an engineer?
This is the second year that DroidCon is happening, so I think it's a massive step in the right direction for Android developers especially. So you find that in conferences people like learn different skills and you're able really to network with a lot of different people. So like building a community is like one of the key parts of like having a successful tech ecosystem. So it's really important for engineers.
You have developed an app that joins together USSD on a platform so that people can easily access it. Maybe could you give us more on that and why you chose to go on that path?
So Hover is a software development kit, so it goes into an Android application. This just uses the power of USSD to be able to make Android apps that can work offline. So I'm sure as Omulara would agree that in a lot of parts of Africa, like we have problems with like infrastructure and connectivity. So it just enables like applications which are already running with an internet connection to be able also to run on a 2G connection. So that's the opportunity that we saw. And in addition to that, like the interfaces for USSD, which is commonly used in Africa, like are a bit clunky and you can't really like customize them. So that's the problem that we sought to solve. And just in addition to that, like it's really hard to integrate APIs from like mobile money providers in Africa. So that's where we come in and give developers like just one simple integration for any USSD service globally.
Is it possible for me to access the application outside of Kenya? If I want to join, maybe I go to Uganda and I have those USSD codes from Uganda. Is it possible for them to come on board?
You can integrate Hover like in any country in the world. So right now USSD is most commonly used in Africa and in Asia. So that's why it would be of most use to you as a developer. So in South Asia and in all of Africa.
As a Kenyan, you obviously know the challenges that most mobile developers go. Maybe you can list some of them, if you are speaking from experience, and you can try and just highlight maybe what a developer goes through on a day-to-day basis. First of all, let's speak about the challenges.
This is purely my personal opinion. So speaking for myself, I went to a university called Jomo Kenyatta University, but I found that what I learned there was really not enough to like sustain like gainful employment in the market. So like first to be able to have that mindset of like constantly wanting to learn like what's being used in the market and what I can learn for myself right now. I feel like that is a big one for me. Other than that, it's just stuff like how like we have I know we have the iHub and so many innovation spaces, but not much is happening for people in rural areas in like all parts of Africa. So just being able to have like to improve infrastructure to the level where like you'll find DroidCon happening in like northern Kenya, or like just for rural people also to be able to like make money from the tech ecosystem, I feel is a big hurdle we have to like get past. Right now, a lot of the developers are seeing like it's partly because they live in cities. That's where the opportunities are. But for the tech ecosystem to really grow, we have to get all the tech to also the people in the rural areas. Those are some of the challenges I see.
Okay, maybe I can try to bring a participant into the whole issue. Maybe what has your experience been so far?
I can say my experience as an Android developer is that there have been so much technology that is coming up, and Android being something that we've learned out of college and university, it has been hard to keep up with the pace. And I can say something like DroidCon is something that was actually meant for people like us, so that we can keep abreast with the technology that is coming up. And I can say that from this kind of conference, it's going to empower us to know what people out there are doing and what we can do even to improve our skills. Because like myself, something like Java, I never did it in my college, and even other technologies that we are using, I had to learn them on my own, because it is something that a friend of mine introduced me to. And as much as he introduced me to it, I could sometimes get stuck because I don't know where to go to, and it was a very big challenge. But I can say that as a country, the way we are moving at the moment, we are moving in the right direction, and very soon I think we'll also be booming more than our Nigerian guys.
So maybe if you can just give me one app that you picked out, one specific app that you maybe have tried before that has gotten your interest, what will that app be?
That has got my interest.
That you are very keen to follow on later.
Made by Kenyans or
Kenyan.
One app that I can say that is really sparked my interest is there was an app that was built called the SophieBot by Amkasa. I can say that it's this guy. I knew him from back in 2015 when he was starting this app, and right now it's a big app and it has much, a mass following. But I came to find out some things that were a bit interesting, and I got to be challenged and realized that as much as it is a success, there are some things that are a bit dark about it, and I can say that we can also give competition on that, because he has built an app that has a chatbot, but sometimes the chatbot doesn't focus everything.
Maybe if I can just ask one more question to you. You are a woman, and tech is mostly considered. You know, they look at it, the coding, a lot of sitting on the on laptop almost every single time. Maybe how do people take you different when you tell them that you are a mobile developer?
Well, the awareness that ladies can do it all if you want to do it is still just growing. I mean, before, people are not used to finding ladies in tech like that, but fortunately for us now, we are gaining ground, and people now know that it's a normal thing. Once you can think of something and you can provide solutions to it, not irrespective of who you are, your gender, your age, and whatever, I think it makes sense. So it's better now compared to years ago, where when you tell people that you're a mobile developer, no, it's a lie and all that. So now it's looking like a normal thing now. Like, oh, you're a mobile developer, nice, and that's it. Yeah.
Thank you very much. Well, Lucy, if you can hear me well, that is it from the DroidCon conference happening here at the iHub. Well, I'll hand it back to you in studio from the Silicon Valley of